Just got a new puppy or kitten? Congrats! But also, yikes. Between crates, beds, toys, treats, and those first few vet visits, you've probably already dropped a small fortune, which is where Lemonade Pet Insurance comes in. It helps cover vet costs so you can focus on what's best for your new pet. The coverage is customizable, sign-up is quick and easy, and your claims are handled in as little as 3 seconds. Pro tip, Lemonade offers a package specifically for puppies and kittens. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet. Your future self will thank you. Your pet won't. They don't know what insurance is.
Why have I asked my electrician I found on Angie.com to bury my pet hamster? I was so moved by how carefully he buried my electrical wires, I knew I could trust him to bury my sweet nibbles after his untimely end.
This is very strange.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
Noon, partly to mostly cloudy on Friday and much cooler with a high in the middle 40s. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey Wichita, it's Jacob Albracht. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily coming up next, exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The franchise tag window opened on Tuesday, allowing each team to tag one player on their roster in preparation for a trade or to extend time to discuss a long-term deal. Teams have until July 15th to agree to a new contract with the tagged player. Otherwise, they will play on that one-year tag. Some notable players to keep an eye on during this year's window are Cowboys receiver George Pickens, Colts quarterback Daniel Jones, Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker, and Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson, according to NFL Network's Judy Batista. Elsewhere, Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans' agent told the NFL Network insiders that Evans will return for a 13th season and could stay in Tampa, but he is, quote, opening it up and will explore his options in free agency. Plus, receiver Robert Woods announced his retirement on Tuesday. He signed a one-day contract to retire as a Ram, the team he won a Super Bowl with in 2021. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Oh, hello. It's me, the calculator that lives inside of TaxSlayer. I love numbers. Like 100, as in 100%, as in TaxSlayer's 100% accuracy, guaranteed. And 0, as in $0, as in it costs $0 to file and get the refund you deserve with TaxSlayer Simply Free, if you qualify. Simply Free is available to a limited number of taxpayers with age, income, credit, and deduction restrictions. See TaxSlayer.com for eligibility requirements. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
Aloha, Mr. Hahn.
Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome in to Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you. Jacob Albracht, TJ Cleveland on a Wednesday. That means it's a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Glad to have you here with us this morning. You can get in touch with the program all day long at 869-1240. You can video comment us on Facebook, YouTube, or X, which just means we can take those comments live over the air if you comment in those streams. Thanks for also watching us on 12 News Connected, of course, and listening to us on the Odyssey app. We're glad you're here with us this morning. K-State fans or maybe casual observers up late last night as the Cats in the first game post-Jerome Tang era take down Baylor and look pretty impressive, quite frankly. 90-74 winners over the Bears. We'll dig into all of that. We'll dig into some of the post-game reaction from Matthew Driscoll, the now interim head coach, with some pretty interesting post-game comments. Everybody had some pretty emotional post-game comments, as you might imagine, so we'll take you through that. It's also a game day for both Wichita State and for KU. We'll have pregame coverage on those, including our KU insider, Shreyas Lada. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by Wichita Brewing Company, now featuring chili for a limited time. Hearty Beef No Bean Chili, perfect for lunch and now available at all 3 WBC locations, East, West, and Historic Delano. Wichita Brewing Company, pizza and beer made here. TJ, good morning. How are you?
Awake and thriving. Excuse me. Sorry for the delay there. Late night game last night. Fun one to watch. I think that's the we've talked about. We're big storyline watchers, and it was a big storyline last night. I was honestly surprised the crowd wasn't better. It was a pretty terrible crowd, honestly. But it's a midweek and a team that doesn't have a head coach right now. But I expected the interim boost to want to get people out there. I was tuned in. That's the most entertaining game that I've seen all year.
Yeah,
at least in 2026.
Yeah, I get it. If you're a fan, you can watch it on TV. It doesn't cost you any money. They're 1-11 in conference. So you're not playing for anything.
I'm not asking for a sellout, but there was just a little bit more bleachers on display than I expected.
Yeah, well, K-State fans are probably pretty torn, like most people, with what's been going on. There's a segment that's bitter and loves to be pessimistic and naturally.
You want to talk about you want to talk about the 5%, whatever you want to call it, 5%ers of the K-State fans, the students that wore bags on their heads last game. I don't know if you saw this or not. They came to the game with the bags and ripped them up and threw them up like confetti during the starting lineups.
Look, and it's not even them, honestly. Like, students can do whatever. They're young people having fun. I'm talking about the Twitter trolls. I'm just saying, that kind of thing. There may be some happiness in it for not a lot, but whatever, an amount of people. I think most people probably land where we do. Really hate it for Jerome Tang. Really enjoy Jerome Tang. Hate that this season went this way. Hate that they're not having success. Feel bad that it's all going to get even uglier and messier. And but understand that the product on the court was not acceptable. We can have for cause debates all day long, when they probably will in a court of law. At the end of the day, at Kansas State, 9th place, and 15th place in the Big 12 is not going to be good enough. But it was last night, and the guys responded to it. 90-74. Haggerty and Nate Johnson make a little history. First time in 20 years they've had 2 30-point scores almost.
Yep.
It's been a minute, and they played well. And that was kind of, when we've seen them peak this year, it looked a lot like it looked last night. An offensive team that can really get it done. And Baylor's not real good either. And so here we are, 90-74 winners. They respond. Maybe they can play. Look, they go to Lubbock. Maybe they can give a little spark at the end of the year. I made the joke last night. It's like they're playing for a draft pick. Go win all the games you can win. See what happens. Why not? For a lot of these guys, it's the last college basketball they'll ever get to play.
It's true. This is a really interesting subject now, which I'll dig into later in the show. But and it's kind of what Driscoll talked about, at length. The press conference last night is very interesting and kind of telling for those that want to spin zone things that are happening. But there's an argument to be made, and Driscoll made it point blank in front of a microphone. This all started with the Houston game. Things were changing. And then we thought we looked pretty good against Houston on defense. And again, Houston just kind of suffocates you. And, it's Houston. But if you play like you did against Houston against Baylor, you probably win by 20 points. And so it's just was there something brewing?
Okay.
Do you deserve to get it brewed is a different question.
Yeah,
but the bed
1-11
there,
after 2 9.
I'm not sitting here defending anything. I'm just saying that the bed that they're sleeping in may have been made by Jerome Tang right now, and it's a nice bed, not a bad bed. That's usually how that sentence is phrased.
Yeah, could have been too little, too late though. And look, K-State made the difficult decision. I thought all along that they were going to ride it out and roll with it and let it have a little more time, and then they didn't. And now there's an $18 million question lingering everywhere. But in the meantime, it was pretty clear, and we'll play some of the post game on the other side of this break. It's pretty clear the impact Jerome Tang has on his peers, right? And even a little bit on the players. The players, Haggerty, Johnson came in after the game, talked about how much they loved Tang, the person, how much they appreciated him. It wasn't like it was a Coleman Hawkins bash session.
And that's what people watch the game and they're like, wow, like this is the most fun that they've had, which kind of there's something to be said about it. They look like they were having fun, but guess what? They were winning by 20. Right. Like that would help as well. Like I think that there's just people that are trying to spin zone things.
They are.
And this is the reason you have post-game press conferences, so you can ask those questions. And they did. At the end
of the day, like if we have all the information now, right? There's no cause, and K-State made a really expensive decision. Did they make the right or the wrong decision? Again, I'll say it a million times, not my money, right? The success level wasn't good enough on the floor. There's no debating that.
Yeah.
It sure doesn't seem like there's a for-cause debate, again, unless there's something we don't know about. So when the dust settles on all this, K-State made a really expensive decision, and now they're going to have to figure out how to navigate that. But it was pretty clear that Jerome Tang is well-liked by his peers and by his players. Success level aside, K-State made a decision based on the success level. And yeah, it's one win against at home against a team that's not very good this year. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, but at least maybe they can give us a fun run down the stretch, which is all really the fans are asking for.
I think the only takeaway that you take away from last night is that Matthew Driscoll, it might be one of my top 10 favorite humans in the world. That dude is awesome. Yeah, and we saw it from afar. He was viral a decade ago, and now it's just like, I mean, he even went up there. He's just like, in case anybody's wondering, that's my first win in Bramlage Coliseum.
It's think about the staff that did what they did at Baylor together.
I didn't know he was a Baylor guy either. He coached with Mills too, probably.
I don't know if those two crossed over, but he certainly coached with Tang. And they were sort of the beginning of it. And just from what you're too young to remember Baylor's what happened.
He talked about it. Yeah.
It seems unfathomable, and it was bad. And to just imagine them coming out of that is wild. And those two being part of it. We'll play you some of that audio.
Him and Mills started at Baylor the same year. They were there for the entire tenure together.
So they crossed over. McCasland was there. I don't think he was a part of that original crew, but still, it's just the impact of that group. I mean, look, you see that. Greg Marshall had an unbelievable group of assistants when I moved here. They're all highly successful now coaches. It's crazy when you see it all. It just happens sometimes. Those two are tight. We'll let you listen into some of the postgame from Driscoll on the other side. We'll get you ready for Shockers basketball tonight. We'll get you ready for KU basketball tonight. We got a jam-packed Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Stick around.
This is Sports Radio KFH.
If you're an experienced pet owner, you already know that having a pet is 25% belly rubs, 25% yelling, drop it, and 50% groaning at the bill from every pet visit. Which is why Lemonade Pet Insurance is tailor-made for your pet and can save you up to 90% on vet bills. It can help cover checkups, emergencies, diagnostics, basically all the stuff that makes your bank account get nervous. Claims are filed super easily through the Lemonade app, and half get settled instantly. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet, and they'll help cover the vet bill for whatever your pet swallowed after you yelled, drop it.
Why have I asked my electrician I found on Angie.com to bury my pet hamster? I was so moved by how carefully he buried my electrical wires, I knew I could trust him to bury my sweet nibbles after his untimely end.
This is very strange.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic. Major roads are running at posted speeds, but there is a slowdown on Southeast Boulevard northbound because of construction at 31st Street. From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey Wichita traffic.
Weather. Mostly sunny, breezy, and warm today. High 70 with a west to southwest wind 10 to 20 and gusty. And those skies still may be a little smoky from those western Kansas wildfires. Partly cloudy, 45 tonight. Back over to windy conditions on Thursday. A midday high in the middle 50s. Falling temperatures in the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday and much cooler with a high in the middle 40s. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Wherever you go, you can take us along. Listen to our live stream and never miss a thing. Listen at the gym. Listen on an airplane. listen during your daughter's wedding. You never liked the groom anyway. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on the free iHeartRadio app.
Dude, you gotta hear this.
Go ahead. I think I want to hear this.
Sports Daily is on KFH.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to have you here with us. Thanks to Crestview Country Club for keeping us fueled up, fired up here on the program each and every day. It is getting to be golf season, and Crestview has 36 holes for you. Looking great, in great shape. Now's a good time. Get out there, check it out. Join now, get a good deal, and then be ready for the spring as we get right into golf season. Give Crestview a call. Tell them we sent you here at Sports Daily. Enjoy events like the one coming up later this week, the Tapas and Tequila Night. 5 different flights of tequila, chef-inspired entrees. Give it a shot. Tell them we sent you from Sports Daily. Welcome back in. Talking a little K-State over Baylor last night. We'll have Shreyas Lada in to talk KU. Later in the show, we'll get you ready for the Shockers game. But let's take you back into, TJ, some of what happened last night. You had an historic night for the combination of Haggerty and Johnson. K-State looked really good offensively. Really, K-State looked like they did early in the year when we thought this thing was going to work, right? The roster made sense to Jerome Tank's style. Everything fell out. Jerome Tank's gone. Matthew Driscoll steps in, Jerome Tank's close friend, who was brought in as an associate head coach.
By the way, hold on. Before we get to that, we got our submission in for the replacement of the Tang Gang name.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we did. Thank you to the listener. Go ahead.
Driscoll's Pistols.
Driscoll's Pistols.
For the rest of the season, they will affectionately be referred to as Driscoll's Pistols.
Driscoll's Pistols. I like that, by the way.
Doesn't really rhyme, but it's close enough.
It's the ol.
It's got the is and the ol, so we'll take it.
I'm not sure we're going to get much that has the col in it, so you got to take it a little further back. I'll allow it. I think it's right.
Anyways, press conference was crazy.
All right, let's play some of this. Here it is. Max has it ready. Listen to what now head coach Matthew Driscoll had to say.
I did not come to Kansas State to be the head coach. Coach Tang and I and Coach Drew, 23 years ago, for 6 years, went through the most tumultuous college athletics situation that's ever happened. Flipped the program around from a murder in 5 years to the NCAA tournament, in 7 years to the Elite Eight. Coach Tang and I were thicker than thieves. The amount of hours, the amount of time, the amount of tears. He is an amazing human being. We're the godparents to his daughter, who was born when we played Kansas. Coach Tang has always been there for me. He's always supported me. Coach Tang is an amazing human being, and he did amazing things at Kansas State. And I'm super, super, super proud of the staff. Because sometimes these things don't go the way you want them to go, and sometimes they go sideways, and sometimes emotions get in the way, which is human beings. It's what we are. And our staff was beyond phenomenal. It wasn't about anything except continuing to do what coaches set up the table to do. And I'm going to tell you guys this right now. On Sunday, when Coach told us the news, he shared with us something that's very, very important. And it's so true. And because of his leadership and because of what he did, that's why tonight transpired. And that's why everything came to fruition tonight. He took us from here, and we went through a lot of tough things. But if you want to know something, there's nothing easy in life, and nothing's normal. Only a setting on the washing machine, right, Carrie? And by the way, the hard line, when you go stand in the hard line, how many people were there? 1, 2, 3? Everybody wants it easy. And he said, we're not doing that. And because of our guys' resiliency and their ability to understand, I don't know why. I can't explain why. But I can tell you this. Because of that, and because of what transpired, and the way it transpired, we went from this to this. And it showed Saturday, and it surely showed tonight. Because when you're a team that has a record like ours and has been through the tough losses that we've been through, when the game gets from high double digits, 21 maybe was the largest lead, I don't know, and they cut it to some single digit number that I don't know what it is, that's when your sphincter gets tight, and that's when you start saying, oh my goodness, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. And that's when you start pointing fingers. And that's when you start saying, throw me the ball, do this and do that. And if you would have heard them and you'd have heard our staff, that's what Coach Tang was able to accomplish. So I'm super proud and I'm honored when he talked to me on Sunday and said, I want you to do this.
It's incredible. Incredible press conference. And it didn't even, his opening statement was 7 minutes long. That was only 4 of them. And like shortly thereafter of the things he just said, he stopped and he said, what Martin Luther King Jr. say? If you can't run, it was like waiting for reporters to like a back and forth. He's like, you know it. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, and it's incredible. And like it keeps going. Like he is by all means like the character, the most high energy guy. Like it's nuts. And as I'm talking about, as you hear there is my point here, Jacob, is that like you can spin zone as much stuff as you want from watching the game, but like if you want, by all accounts, what the players and the coaches are saying, like they're devastated. Like they are not happy that Coach Tang got fired, and they are saying that every bit of success they have the rest of the way is because of Coach Tang.
Yeah, I believe it. I do. Again, they're two different issues, and I'm with you on Driscoll. That's the right energy, and Driscoll's going to give them. I mean, that's his boy. They're gonna he, if nothing else, will set the tone that they're doing everything they do for Jerome Tang. None of this is going to help K-State's case. Whatever those group of fans might think that are trying to paint out some supervillain with one of the nicest guys, one of the guys that when you like, since I've done this for a long time now, that you really do genuinely believe like would like for his players to be good men, which I greatly appreciate that. Didn't work though. He wasn't winning enough games. I'm not saying the decision was bad, but it's going to get messy because if they continue that sort of messaging, and I mean, come on, like what is this? What for cause are we doing here? But it wasn't working, and it's a great story. It's a great story. I'm glad I'm not on the hook for $18 million. Because it's a great story now, and it's one that could be at least fun to watch the rest of the way. And Driscoll, you have him on staff there for a reason. It's a guy that's been a head coach for a long time that just, it didn't sound like, based on some of the things he said there and other parts of his postgame, didn't sound like he really wanted to be a head coach anymore. He just wanted to come hang out with his boy and help him be successul.
And he was a head coach for 16 years at North Florida. So what I think is really interesting as well is, and we won't know, but like watching the game, there is something to be said. I'm not going to be dumb about, it was different. It looked different, but what was the reason for the difference is the bigger question. But I think that a question that I'm wondering about is like, what does that look like in comparison to fill in the blank, the Nebraska game, whatever you want to say back then, like one of those games where they were like, these guys look good. Like, as you're saying, like, it's not like they dropped down and held Baylor to 40 points. Like, it's not like the defense was all of a sudden incredible. Like, this was just what K-State was before they got in a slump and then it magnified.
So, K-State to open the year, 93 against UNC Greensboro, 98 against Bellarmine, 99 against Cal, 98 against Mississippi State. The Nebraska game was one. So, yeah, and then they went, and then they didn't play very well for a while. And then they kind of started to come back a little bit. They scored 106 against South Dakota, 94 against ULM. Like, where did the team go that could just score a ton and couldn't play any defense? Because that team was entertaining.
To be fair, that was a real who's who of teams you just listed off.
Well, I understand.
But like I
scored 54 against West Virginia.
That's the thing, is that it's not that. Like it's trending back to where it was supposed to be, basically.
Right.
Like this is what it seems like it was supposed to be. Is that team what's on the court? Could they finish top half in the Big 12? Probably not. Like, to be honest with you. Like if they ran it back the whole Big 12 and said, Driscoll, go get them. And it's what they showed us in the non-con, like they wouldn't probably beat Kansas. They probably wouldn't beat Houston or Arizona or all the high-profile teams that they play. Like, every game would have been a dogfight for them, but they could have snuck some of them out. They wouldn't only have 2 wins in Big 12 play. But I don't know. I think that it's everybody is talking about, like, it's so much different because there's something to be said about, maybe Andre Kostic had a longer leash and like they played a little bit more free. And like he talked about, Driscoll was asked that question about them playing more free. And he's like, I think that we started looking more free against Houston, guys. Like, I think that it was trending this direction. And so I don't know. I think that like, it's not anything groundbreaking of what he did. It's just more so like we talk about the interim boost, like Penn State fired James Franklin, and they won some games with the interim head coach. And, like, it happens everywhere. It happens in the NFL. It happens every time that a coach gets fired. The players are like, we're going to go play for Coach Tang. And then
we don't know if it was like, was it guilt motivating them? Was it excitement
something was
motivating them? Doesn't really matter, but it worked.
And if you ask the K-State fans that are the Tang haters, they're getting online saying, look at that, dude. Nate Johnson hated Jerome Tang. Look how good he's playing. Like, you don't think Nate Johnson just wants to play good? Like, maybe it's that.
Exactly. Whether they were well prepared or not is the question at hand. Again, that's not a for-cause question. Okay, like that's the thing. Like whether or not he was doing a good enough job as a coach, I think the case was pretty easy that for 3 years now he was not. And that's the reason. This is all going to be something that we'll look back on later. What this decision by K-State to do this, to go this route that they're going. Who are they going to hire? That matters. How quickly can they be successful? That matters. Do these resources being tied up cost them players? That matters. Like, we don't know any of that yet. We don't even know if they're going to pay it out 18. I think they will, whether it's 16 or 18 million. We don't know any of that yet. So let's watch this team that on paper, like I liked this group together. It made sense. It looked like a team that offensively could be really good. I didn't quite expect them to be as bad defensively as they've been for a lot of the year, but who knows? And look, two minds aren't exactly alike. Maybe Matthew Driscoll has some different ideas, even though he loves Jerome Tang to death.
I think that it's the best way to describe it is that I think that the overlying theme of what they're going to do is the same. I think that Driscoll's a little bit more of a basketball sicko than Tang. More as Tang is more of the master motivator and get everybody rallied up and kind of see what happens when you throw the ball out there. I think that he's kind of a sicko and, he's got more Paul Mills in him than Jerome Tang in him, I think, which they were all there together. But it's interesting. That part is interesting to me, by the way. Sidebar, the Scott Drew coaching tree that everybody talks about is kind of split into 2 categories of like one, like half of them, it feels like, are like, we're going to go get the guys and we're just going to let it go and just see what happens. And Scott Drew kind of does that. Scott Drew isn't much of a X's and O's guys in my brain. I think that he's more of a.
He's developed the zone defense. I mean,
he has.
Yeah.
But he's not the Bill self-set play, that type of coach. I don't
offensively.
think.
I'd have to dig back.
I guess defense is something to be said about that. But then there's the Jerome Tang assistant that is kind of a let's go build the best team we can, roll the ball out there, and we'll motivate the hell out of these guys. Then you get in, maybe there's something to be said about Dusty May. Whenever he did that at FAU, he just had an amazing team at FAU and kind of let them be athletes. And then you talk about what Paul Mills does, and he, has that in him sometimes, but I think more so he's the kind of guy it's like, we're going to run 17 off-ball screens for Kenyon Giles and get somebody open and do it that way. So, I don't know. That's sidebar. Anyways, But I think the overlying theme is the same between Driscoll and Tang. I think there may be a little bit more structure in what they're trying to do, and I think that there may be a little bit more, decision-making that maybe Tang wouldn't have made. Like, I think Kostic is a good example. Kostic was on a tight leash with Tang, and he was the first guy off the bench last night and played the most minutes off the bench. And I think that may have been something that Driscoll's like, there's something in there, and I'm going to get it out if it's the last thing I do. Like, we're going to do that. Is that him saying, I'm doing this in spite of Tang? No, it's not. It's a separate decision.
And again, like, it's the same guys. They're probably running a lot of the same stuff. Maybe they were better prepared, and maybe that was a part of the problem. Or maybe Baylor's just not that good, and they were going to win against Baylor at home anyway. Like, let's see what they do against Texas Tech.
Exactly.
What do they have? Do they have let me see here. They don't have any more big-time opponents coming to Bramlage. I mean, what do you compare it to? If somebody was coming in, do you compare it to a 30-point loss at home, which was happening lately?
That's what that was the best way to describe it. Like last night in the newsroom, people that hadn't been following as closely as us, it was like, wow, would they have beaten Baylor if Tang was coaching? Or it's like with the way that they were playing, it's like, well, they could have. Like they're probably going to be right there against them. Like it would have been a 5-point spread one way or the other. But what feels like wasn't on the what feels like wasn't on the table was a 30-point loss. That's the difference.
What a story. It's going to be it's not going away. It's going to be a story for a while. We'll see. Good luck. I'm just glad. I'm glad I'm glad they're playing well. Maybe they can string it together and play well in Lubbock. Just give us something down the stretch. Give us a Big 12 tournament. Give us something. It's a good story. Driscoll will make it an even better story because his personality fits.
I'm telling you, if there's anything if you want to feel something, K-State fans or anybody, like this is just good. I love press conferences because I'm a nerd now, but like a good press conference is just something and like last night was a good press conference. Like one of the other things that stuck out to me is our buddy Andrew Lind of Topeka, or sister station, asked him, you were on the court 2.5 hours before the game. Like typically coaches come out as the final buzzer goes off and get ready to coach the game because you're doing stuff behind the scenes. You were out there warming up with the guys. Like, why did you do that? And he's like, my dad was in the Army and he told me if your last name is going to be on something, you better make sure it's good. And it's like, if I'm going to be the coach, like I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to win us basketball game.
Yeah, and he's even said he doesn't want to, but he'll do it anyway.
Yes.
We're going to talk KU a little bit on the other side, Wichita State a little bit on the other side as they get ready for games tonight. We've got Shreyas Laddha coming up later in the show as well, so stick with us. Want to tell you that the Wichita RV and Travel Show text-in contest is underway for the next couple of days, it looks like. So if you want to get in on this, you got to do it quickly. You can text the keyword RV to 20357 for your shot at Wichita RV and Travel Show passes. You can enter daily through tomorrow for your chance to win. Get all the details at kfhradio.com. Message and data rates apply. Good luck on that one, everybody. We got a couple more of those we'll get you through today. But when we come back, let's go away from K-State. Big games tonight. Wichita State, KU, both in action. We'll preview them next.
This is Sports Radio KFH.
If you're an experienced pet owner, you already know that having a pet is 25% belly rubs, 25% yelling, drop it, and 50% groaning at the bill from every pet visit. Which is why Lemonade Pet Insurance is tailor-made for your pet and can save you up to 90% on vet bills. It can help cover checkups, emergencies, diagnostics, basically all the stuff that makes your bank account get nervous. Claims are filed super easily through the Lemonade app and half get settled instantly. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet and they'll help cover the vet bill for whatever your pet swallowed after you yelled, drop it.
Why have we asked our contractor we found on Angie.com to be our kids' legal guardian? Because he took such good care when redoing our basement that we knew we could trust him to care for our kids.
We only met a month ago.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic. No major incidents to report, but I-235 southbound is heavy heading east onto K96. From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey Wichita traffic.
weather.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and warm today. High 70 with a west to southwest wind 10 to 20 and gusty. And those skies still may be a little smoky from those western Kansas wildfires. Partly cloudy, 45 tonight. Back over to windy conditions on Thursday. A midday high in the middle 50s. Falling temperatures in the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday and much cooler with a high in the middle 40s. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
The Miami Dolphins cleared up some cap space yesterday by releasing Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb. The Dolphins' direction is clear. Cut the fat and rebuild for the future with a new front office and coaching staff. Next up on the agenda for Miami is what to do with Tua Tagovailoa. Can the Dolphins find a trade partner for Tua? And I'm guessing Tua would look forward to a fresh start as well. I'm Chris Black.
Basically, get out of the way.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Yeah! This tanking has been around this season. The Jazz were fined $100,000 for sitting Lauri Markkanen in multiple games. So the discipline is public, but the behavior didn't change and probably won't change. The league may mean business, but intent and impact are not the same.
The Dan Patrick Show, middays from 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
The Jim Rome Show. After losing to OKC, LeBron James said, "We're not a championship team." Now tell us something we didn't already know. You're not contending for jack if you don't guard anyone. They're probably not even a get out of the first round team, especially in the rugged West.
Jim Rome, afternoons at 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH, Wichita's most listened to sports radio.
It's time to get back to the sports talk.
All right, let's do this thing. Go!
Sports Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad to be here with you on Sports Daily. Prayer Fire Coffee, hitting us every morning. Always a good thing to get the day going. Hope everybody's staying safe out there, or if you have family or loved ones out in western Kansas, staying safe with a pretty crazy fire day yesterday. God bless all the wonderful people working to try to contain those. That got a little wild yesterday. Last night here in Wichita, you had the ash blowing across town. Got out of basketball practice last night for my daughter and couldn't even walk outside. Straight to the eyes. It was pretty crazy. So hang in there, everybody. We've got a couple more windy days and then some relief, it looks like. All right, we got a couple big basketball games tonight, TJ. Wichita State, KU, both in action. Wichita State on the road at East Carolina, 7.5.
Speaking of Wichita State, one more sidebar here, and then I'll stop hijacking the show. Last night, Driscoll also said that somebody asked him if he had talked to any former people or something of that nature. He said, "I called Josh Eilert." He said, "Josh Eilert's been an interim in 2 different schools in the Big 12. Funny. He's like, he's a K-Stater. I called him.
I was about to say K-State guy.
Now he's a Wichita State assistant.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, actually. How do you do this? Yeah, Josh Eilert would know. 7.5 point favorites tonight at East Carolina. That makes me a little nervous on that line. East Carolina's playing a little bit better, but these are the games Wichita State has to have. A couple other interesting ones. UAB at Temple. That helps Wichita State either direction. UTSA at home. Maybe they can do something special. Probably not. And then Charlotte and Tulsa. Either of those technically helps Wichita State. You'd rather see Charlotte win that game than Tulsa. But there's going to be a little help if Wichita State can win tonight. KU, it is the dreaded trip to Oklahoma State tonight. Mm-hmm. KU is a pretty long shot at this point to win the Big 12. So right now it's more about, we got 2 different scenarios. For Wichita State, we're absolutely looking at them as trying to win their conference. For KU, I guess technically they're alive. Some people have been thinking about that, and maybe it's just me. I haven't been thinking about KU winning the Big 12 for a second. I'm just trying to think about KU playing its best basketball.
It feels like
it's weird.
For most of the season, it felt like it was unobtainable because Arizona or Houston weren't going to lose another game. Now, it's possible. Like, I think that it just happened to be that KU went on a hot streak as the other 2 finally started to lose games, and it's kind of in the equation. But I agree. They rattled off 5 in a row. It's like, well, that's going to be nice for their March Madness seeding. But it didn't seem like it was possible because Arizona wasn't going to lose.
Yeah, where is our Arizona's now they've got an injury to deal with. I don't know how serious that is. I guess we'll find out tonight. So right now, you've got KU is, they're just a game back in the loss column, I guess, still with their game against Houston. They split with Iowa State. They'll play Arizona again. Yeah, look, they're alive. They're very much alive. And again, that wasn't the point. The point for me was I haven't even been paying attention to it. I haven't been paying attention to the Big 12 standings hardly at all, other than where K-State is at the bottom because of other reasons. But it's just been about, like, how good can KU be? What's their ceiling? I don't care what seed they are in the NCAA tournament. I don't really care about any of that stuff. It's just, what's the best version of this team? And I suppose it is time to start to kind of hone in a little bit on the Big 12 because, you're right there with some control left, right? You've got Houston and Arizona still to play, and you're a game behind them in the standings. You can win both of those tiebreakers. I don't know what the tiebreaker is against Iowa State. I'm not sure because you split with them. But there's some control there for KU. So go win them all. Go win a Big 12 championship, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, what are they back? Are they just a game back now? Is that what's going on?
Back in the loss column.
Yeah.
So with that, you've got your Houston game in Arizona. It's back to back.
If you win them, if you win them all, you're right there.
You can't screw up this week against Oklahoma State or Cincinnati. Houston comes as a back-to-back home games. Houston's the big Monday game next week, but it's at least home game for Kansas. So yeah, I look, they're right there, and then it's Arizona State and Kansas State. You got to for sure win all of those. Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Kansas State, Arizona State. You've got Houston and Arizona mixed in there. This will be a good test. Again, I guess I should get excited about the Big 12. I'm going to try to retrain my brain now to get excited about the Big 12. But for Kansas, with me, it's been all about how good can they play, and can we see the first half against BYU over an extended period of time? And honestly, they're going to win a bunch of these games anyway.
I think that the biggest thing about KU basketball that everybody's been thinking, and it's, humble thinking. I don't know if that's the best way to put this, but I think that every KU fan is just kind of we just got to get to the second weekend. I think that's and obviously there's goals that are bigger than that, and they probably want to win the Big 12, and they probably want to go to the Final Four. But I think that it's more so from the fans, the fear of getting bounced in the round of 32 again, because there's just so much tiredness of that.
Yeah, I this is a different team though. I'm not. I do think this team's much better.
They are.
Well, much better is an interesting term. I think they're much better. I think they're much better equipped to win tournament games. How about that?
Than last year?
Last year before. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But
they're more equipped to win Big 12 games.
But Peterson's a part of that.
I agree.
The thing that they missed the last 2 years, the thing that they've missed this year when he's not there is the ability to hit threes, ability to shoot the ball. So, they've had a dominating post player. They've had some other things. They haven't had this kind of energy for sure. They haven't, but they haven't had a big time scorer. And now, depending on Melvin Council, they might have two of them. It's got a chance to be special, but I am of the belief that Peterson's got to be a part of it. I know there are people out there that are they play better without him. Even if that were true, I still don't think it's going to be good enough without him. They've got to take this time and figure out how to get him in there healthy, and I know they can't all control that, but then play their best with him there if they want to make a deep tournament run. That's what it's going to take. I don't think the group without Peterson playing well is good enough to make a deep run in the tournament. With him, though, I do think they are.
I don't know. I think that without him, I think they're capable enough. It's just
of stringing them together.
I think it's a matchup thing. I think that you're right, and that in March you're bound to get hit with a team that's going to make 15 threes, and so it's can they keep up with that? Probably not. can they? But like without him, I mean, they beat Arizona without him. Like that's the one thing that'll always bring you back is that like,
yep,
they'll be good enough to do anything. It's just a matter of what happens that night. And I think it's more so, is the team without Peterson good enough on defense to muck it up like they did against Arizona? That's why they won the game.
And they are. I mean, that's their superpower. That's their strength. Yes. Is that because that's Peterson? I don't think Peterson hurts them defensively. But it's not like he is that missing piece on defense. They're good on they should be good on defense with or without him. It's what he adds to the offense that they need.
Yeah.
And he is. True. I mean, they are that good defensively when they play that good, but they were good defensively the last 2 years also. That's that they didn't defend the three particularly well, but I'm not going to sit here and say they do that an amazing job of that this year either. I'd have to look at the numbers on that. But they've had games where they've been a little susceptible to a good three-point shooter. Look at the second half against BYU.
Yeah.
It's this one against Oklahoma State will be. I'm pretty in on this game for a lot of reasons. One of them is that there's no more flu lingering around. There's nothing that should be holding Peterson back in this one that we can think of. So, I mean, first and foremost, when's the last time we saw him play well? It's been a minute. Like, let's start there. Like, can he play well offensively? Can he have a game here that reminds us? Now, sometimes he doesn't look good and still scores 24 points. But
yeah, I'm intrigued on what it's going to look like because going on the road in the Big 12, we've seen now that this has become such a national story. Like, fan bases are letting them hear about it. It's happened at every road game in the last month, basically, that they're on DP's case. And so it's like, Oklahoma State fans at 8 p.m., they're known to be a bit ruckus, especially when KU comes to town. Like, if he plays, like, this could be a game that's, like, really shut people up or, he'll have adversity to face, I guess.
He did it against Tech. He faced it well.
He didn't play good. But he
he got
won the game.
But he got it. He got it when he needed to. Look, that's a part of the bummer with him is that it's taken too long to experience some of these things because of the injuries and because of the missed games, right? Like normally, even for a freshman in late February, a lot of this stuff, like we've got answers to. He just hasn't played enough games. Yeah. And so we are still like, how does he respond to that? Does he have that ice water in his veins? He did for just a second there against Texas Tech. Can he come out into what's probably going to be a rowdy crowd, as it always is against Kansas there? And can he, break some hearts in Stillwater? No. Because if he's a Kobe clone, which is everybody's favorite comp, then he's going to come in there and he's going to break some hearts tonight. He's going to thrive on it.
That's
Kobe was the greatest
feels like
bad guy ever.
I agree. That feels like what people have been waiting for. And like everybody always wants to see the giant game and he got to 30 that one time and everything like that. But like everybody's just waiting for the one where it's just like all the narratives about Darren Peterson of the negative connotations about him and everything like that. Like every KU fan feels like they're just waiting for just go score 50 points, dude.
Okay.
Like,
let me ask you.
Do it one time.
Go score 50. You think that's KU at its best?
That's interesting. I mean, based on the way that he plays, like it is. Because if I had to take a stab, he's only taken 27 shots.
I don't know. I mean, you'll always take that. I think they need him to make the offense easier. I don't know that they need him to go because to me, it's always going to start with those two bigs down low. It always should.
I don't know.
The best Bill Self teams do that. Even the last championship team, like go back and watch those games.
I know.
They ran their offense through McCormick.
But
it drove people nuts because sometimes you just shake your head at like, what are you doing? But those the Doak and Dot offense, like the best to me, Bill Self teams run their offense, and KU now has two of them. So I think it still should start there.
I don't know, but like Ochai Agbaji's not Darren Peterson either. Like that's the argument to make about that. Like
he was as a 3-point shooter that year.
He was. I think it's the thing, like if he does have a nuclear game and goes for 40 points or whatever it is, like it's more so going to come in the way of like, I guess if you want me to play the perfect scenario, like being a part of the offense, which he's done pretty well since he's come back.
I totally agree. Yeah.
I think that it would start there, and then it's like, all right, man, you've made 5 threes. Like, just do whatever you want for a little bit.
I agree with that. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is, like, the thing that's going to make Darren Peterson probably a great pro is not a way that college basketball's played that often. Like, him one-on-one that's not really the way college basketball works. So, his biggest strengths may not fit the best. So how do they, and that's what I mean, they all still have to learn how to play together. How do you take his elite shooting ability, and then when you're slumping, which KU does, then can you say, yo, DP, we got to have a bucket. Just go get us one. And how do you weave that together, right? The easiest offense, though, starts down low for KU. Let's talk Shockers when we return. They've got one against East Carolina, and we'll revisit the last
headlines, Jacob. Headlines. I got good headlines today.
And headlines I likely missed. That's all coming up next on Sports Daily.
This is 97.5 and 1240 KFH, Wichita, K248CY Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Flash free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic. No major incidents to report, but I-235 southbound is heavy heading east onto K96. From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey Wichita traffic.
Weather.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and warm today. High 70 with a west to southwest wind 10 to 20 and gusty. And those skies still may be a little smoky from those western Kansas wildfires. Partly cloudy, 45 tonight. Back over to windy conditions on Thursday. A midday high in the middle 50s. Falling temperatures in the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday and much cooler with a high in the middle 40s. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Let's get it.
I don't have to miss out when I leave my car anymore.
Download the Odyssey app and listen anywhere. Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
Aloha, Mr. Hyde.
Happy Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday, everybody. Glad to be here with you. Jacob Albracht, TJ Cleveland on a Sports Daily Wednesday. We have Shocker basketball tonight. We've got KU basketball tonight. We'll get you ready for both in this hour, plus headlines I missed. Sharice Lott, our KU insider, will join in just a little bit to help preview the game tonight in Stillwater. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, now featuring the Dub event venue at WBC Delano. Perfect for graduation parties, meetings, reunions. Visit www.wichitabrew.com to begin your booking at the Dub event venue at WBC Delano, where groups gather. Again, wichitabrew.com. We are coming at you a lot of different ways over the air here on KFH. You can call us 869-1240. You can leave us comments, Facebook, YouTube, X. You can leave us voice messages through the Odyssey app, and we appreciate you watching us also on 12 News Connected. Glad you're here with us on this Wednesday. We are getting you ready for college basketball tonight. Before we do that, though, TJ, we've got some headlines that I may have missed. Max?
All right, Sports Daily fans, let's take you to the sports headlines Jacob probably didn't see.
I've got some good ones for you today, Jacob, and I am almost certain that you have not seen probably any of them, honestly. I think I can go 4 for 4 today. First of all, a bit of trivia. We'll open this up to the comments as well if anybody can get it before I give the answer. Thomas Hammock. Can somebody tell me where he coaches? Jacob? I'll throw you a hint.
All State.
That's close.
State.
It's in the MAC. It's close.
Miami of Ohio. Is that their undefeated coach?
Nope. Football. We're talking football here.
All right.
Was in the headlines last year for an early season win.
Central Michigan.
Northern Illinois.
Okay.
They beat Notre Dame last year, and that coach, everybody loved him. He's leaving Northern Illinois, and he's going to be the Seahawks offensive analyst regarding running backs.
So you're leaving a head coach in college to go be an assistant in the NFL, and not even a high-level assistant.
He is leaving for an administrative offensive assistant role with the Seattle Seahawks, per Brett McMurphy.
Look, if it were me, and I had a chance to be in the NFL and dealing with that schedule versus the schedule of a college head coach, I would take the assistant job as well. Probably the pay is not even that different, to be honest.
Something to be said about it. All right, moving on. We go to college basketball, semi-local here. We're going to talk about some Nebraska ball that got upset last night. Did you see that?
Wait, say it again?
Nebraska ball got upset last night.
I did see that. I saw. Yeah, I did.
So
right?
That's not the headline. By the way, Ben McCollum, Brandon Zinner, Northwest Missouri State. We love Ben McCollum here on the program. So they get it done. Storm the court in Iowa after the game, and somehow, some way, a fan basically was got on the court at the perfect time and was standing at the end of the handshake line and just took a video of Hoiberg just standing there, and Hoiberg just looked at him and then just smacked the phone clean out of his hands
because he was down there supposed to be.
I mean, he was just basically just trying to take a video of Hoiberg and kind of get in his face with the camera after they just got upset. And he just, get that out of my face, man. It smacked it away. And everybody was like, how did you get that close to Hoiberg? What's going on? Where's the security?
What? That's temper, I guess.
Yeah. Somebody asked after the game, Ben McCollum, they said, how many times have the fans stormed the court after you guys won a game? He said, we didn't storm the court. People stormed the court when they beat us. He said that was about as arrogant as he said. The only time that we stormed the court was after we won the national championship. And then he said, "I'm sorry, that was about as arrogant as it gets. I did not mean to sound like that."
He's got him. He's got him.
I love Ben McCollum. All right, this
video now. Hoiberg slap. Man, that was big mad.
Yeah,
big mad. That wasn't. You made it sound like there was like a moment of thought there. That was zero. Hoiberg went handshake to slap instantly. Got to be careful with that.
Correct. All right. Now we're going to get into some good stuff that really ties back. UCLA, Mick Cronin. Did you see this? Did you see? There's two parts to this. Did you see one? During the game, they were getting, taken down by like 20-something points at that point. And one of those players pissed him off. And he basically took him and grabbed it, got in his face, and was like, just go. And he's walking into the pitch. He's like, no, go to the locker room. And he ejected his own player from the game, which is headline one that everybody raised their eyebrows about. Then we got to the post-game press conference, and some poor Michigan, I think in Michigan State, right, asked him a question along the lines of what did you think about the student section chanting? Then he didn't even get to finish his question, and he said, do you really think I give a rat's behind about what the student sections? I coached UCLA, and then started taking another question, looked back at him and said, kudos to you for asking me the worst question I've ever heard. And the kid, I think it sounded like it was a student. Maybe, I don't know who it was. Maybe it was a reporter. I don't know. But said something along the lines of oh, I'll take it. And he said, well, yeah, you better take it. It's like, you think I care about this? And then he's like, no, I don't think that you got, I'm asking. And he said, are you raising your voice at me? And it's like, in a world full of Kansans that are talking about press conferences and for cause, Mick Cronin is on the West Coast just cussing at reporters for asking him questions about student sections. Jerome Tang got asked the same question, basically, about students wearing paper bags, and he said they should be wearing paper bags. And now we're talking about cause. And Mick Cronin just cussed at a reporter for asking him a question about student section.
He's an ass, man. He is. He's a bully. I got no time for that. The hilarity. The hilarity of the Jerome Tang thing happening and the for cause argument coming out, and the first thing everybody said was Mick Cronin could get fired for cause every game, and sure, the next time he coaches, he does that.
I can't ever wrap my head around being a bully like he tries to be, or maybe is. I just can't. I have no time for it. And the older you get, the more you're like, what?
where on earth are you allowed to act like that outside of a coach being a jerk in a press conference? Like, if we would sometimes have the rules of like playground rules, like you run your mouth, you get punched in the mouth. Like, this dude's whatever, man. Like, get over yourself.
We talk a lot about press conferences. There's two ways to handle it. If somebody's going to ask you a silly question like that, it's a valid question. I'm sure they were saying something. Like, it's just like Jerome Tang question was a valid question. I won't even say silly question. But, like, we've talked a lot about, like, Bill Self is really good at it, that, like, you can ask him a question it may be the stupidest thing that you've ever even said, and you know it. Bill Self is so good at press conferences that he can stop and just give you an answer about something else that will kind of relate, but not really, and give you a good answer about something. Like, that's the way that you can handle that situation. Instead, you look at him and say that is the stupidest question I've ever been asked in my life. It's ridiculous. It all relates back. Everything relates back to Jerome Tang. It'll always
I can't, like, what a jerk, right?
Yeah.
Like, just like, whatever, man. I bet you got lots of friends. Like, you know, walk into a room and nobody likes you. Like, why would you treat people that way? Why would you treat people that way?
I agree. I don't feel bad talking about Mick Cronin in this life.
I don't either.
Like that. No.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. Tie it back even more local. This came out in the last 43 minutes. We're talking NFL, Jacob. Have you seen this one? And this one is going to put Max's head through a wall, likely. The Kansas City Chiefs, from Adam Schefter. The Kansas City Chiefs have restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract this week, lowering his salary cap number from $78.2 million to $34.65 million for the upcoming season.
So I did miss that in yesterday's. When did this happen?
It happened this week, I guess. It wasn't really anything that came out. One of the guys that covers the salary cap pointed it out that they did it, but they saved 43.
The information's coming out this morning,
basically. Okay. Our Schefter's just kind of sharing this guy said.
I missed everything that came out yesterday. We were on the air for like 3.5 hours straight.
This just got to Schefter 43 minutes ago.
This is a big deal.
They just created $43.56 million in salary cap space.
Okay.
And as Max is sitting there shaking his head, and he's going to say they're circumventing the cap.
Well, they are. That's how it works.
They're still over the cap.
I got to look now where that puts them, because we'll have. That puts them at 11 over. They'll cut Taylor, so now they're going to be 10 under real quick.
Correct.
Okay.
And they'll still go nowhere next year. Market.
All right, Max.
All right, Max. There he is, everybody.
Man. Aren't you glad that Max doesn't watch college basketball? This show would be insufferable.
I've got to. I'm
trying to stay awake.
Spend some time on the Chiefs. So what we'll do, we'll come back. I want to talk about that move, that decision by the Chiefs, and what it looks like, because that's an even bigger restructure than I thought they were capable of. So we'll have that. Those are the headlines that I missed, by the way, everybody. Everybody's favorite segment. Those were good ones today, TJ. Those are really good ones today.
Thank you.
We'll have we'll react to this Mahomes thing. I don't need to spend any more time with Mick Cronin. He's a bully. God, that makes me mad. That makes me so mad. I've been in, not including like my brothers or my friends, like actual fist fights. I've been in 2, I think, in my life, and it's been because somebody was being a bully to somebody. Like, that's it. It makes me so mad. I can't stand it. God, what a loser. All right. We'll come back. Let's talk about this Mahomes restructure, a little bit on Wichita State, previewing, getting ready for East Carolina, and then we'll have Shreyas Laddha in later this hour to discuss KU tonight on the road at Stillwater. It's all coming for you here on Sports Daily. Don't go away.
This is Sports Radio KFH.
If you're an experienced pet owner, you already know that having a pet is 25% belly rubs, 25% yelling, drop it, and 50% groaning at the bill from every pet visit. Which is why Lemonade Pet Insurance is tailor-made for your pet and can save you up to 90% on vet bills. It can help cover checkups, emergencies, diagnostics, basically all the stuff that makes your bank account get nervous. Claims are filed super easily through the Lemonade app, and half get settled instantly. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet, and they'll help cover the vet bill for whatever your pet swallowed after you yelled, drop it.
Why have I asked my HVAC guy I found on Angie.com to change my grandpa's trachea tube? Because I was so amazed by how quickly he replaced our air ducts. I knew I could trust him to change Pop-Pop's tube while I was on vacation.
Make it quick, young man.
Aw, see? Pop-Up trusts you.
I think we should call the doctor.
Connecting homeowners with skilled pros for over 30 years. Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
Hello, it's Lena Dunham. I host a podcast called The C Word with my dearest friend and historian of bad behavior, Alyssa Bennett.
What is up?
It's a chat show about women whose society is called crazy.
We're going to be rediscovering the stories of women's society dismissed by calling them mad, sad, or just plain bad.
Listen to and follow The C Word with Lena Dunham and Alyssa Bennett. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic. I-235 southbound is heavy heading east onto K96. Give yourself 5 extra minutes. The main roads are running smoothly. From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey Wichita traffic.
Weather.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and warm today. High 70 with a west to southwest wind 10 to 20 and gusty. And those skies still may be a little smoky from those western Kansas wildfires. Partly cloudy, 45 tonight. Back over to windy conditions on Thursday. A midday high in the middle 50s. Falling temperatures in the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday and much cooler with a high in the middle 40s. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Basically, get out of the way.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
This tanking has been around this season. The Jazz were fined $100,000 for sitting Lauri Markkanen in multiple games. So the discipline is public, but the behavior didn't change and probably won't change. The league may mean business, but intent and impact are not the same.
The Dan Patrick Show, middays from 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
The commercials are over.
Yo, I haven't got all day.
869-1240.
Time to get busy.
This is Sports Daily on KFH.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Shreya Slaughter coming up in about 20 minutes to talk KU tonight. We'll talk some shockers as well. We will talk some Kansas City Chiefs, as in the headlines that I didn't see this morning. Adam Schefter furthering an over-the-cap report that Patrick Mahomes has restructured his salary and will cut it basically in for 2026 and free up the cap number. It more than cuts it in half. It goes from 78.2 because Mahomes has that interesting 10-year contract, remember, where it just kind of allows them to move money around. So now it'll go down to 34.5. That clears $43 million in cap room. There's still $11 million over the cap, according to overthecap.com, who broke this story. And Chris Jones, according to Over the Cap, is the next logical scenario to restructure. We are assuming that they'll cut Jawan Taylor, which we know is an option. Jawan Taylor will free up about $20 million. A Jones restructure maybe frees up another 10. I don't know what they could get out of that, but they're going to be under the cap. They'll have some money to play with. Now, I don't know how many more of these things they can do. I don't know how much free agency they need just to kind of fill out the roster. But it's significant, TJ. That's a big move. I knew they would find it. I didn't know they'd get that much out of Mahomes. That's crazy. That's a big number.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what it was last year. It looks like they did it to Chris Jones and Mahomes at the same time last year on March 12th, and they freed up $49.4 million. And so, I mean, they freed up 43 with just Mahomes. We have the conversation every year, and every year, like, it's just like nobody understands the Mahomes contract. Is the best thing I always see on social media of all the national people. It's just like the Chiefs are in cap hell. Max Power says the Chiefs are in cap hell, and nobody understands the Mahomes contract. And I don't understand the Mahomes contract, and I've covered him for 5 years.
I don't understand the salary cap in the NFL very well to begin with, to be perfectly honest with you, because there is so much restructuring, cap penalties, how much can be converted to signing bonus, like all that stuff. But it's easier in baseball, right? When everybody just signs contracts and it doesn't matter. So it's fine. I don't need to understand it. I just need to react to it when it is maneuvered. And the number that matters is how much is left. How much space do they have? And can they get enough space for the conversations we've had to attack some of the needs that we think they might draft through free agency, selfishly, and most notably, of course, Breece Hall. I know that people have tied Travis Etienne to the Chiefs a lot. I'd rather have Hall, personally. I think Etienne is okay. With the workload they would probably put on him, it'd probably be all right. But if I'm swinging big in free agency, I'd want a horse like Breece Hall. If not, I'd rather go with a young guy through the draft that doesn't cost me anything. Yep. Those are the two options to look at here. But they may sign it. They may like Etienne. I don't know. I'm quite a bit bigger fan of Breece Hall's game than Etienne's.
It feels like, as we've said, if they're going to make a move at running back, if they're going to run the ball, of what we talked about, that feels like it's trending that direction. Like, if you're going to go get a guy at free agency, you got to go get a guy of the Breece Hall, Etienne category. If not, then you just draft him.
And the thing about it is, too, like, if you're going to attack the major needs of this team, running back is the cheapest one to do through free agency.
Yep.
So like,
that's the interesting part.
If the major needs are pass rusher, now it's going to probably be a corner that you'd need, perhaps a wide receiver, depending on how you feel about that room. But, for sure, running back, for sure, defensive line. It's much cheaper in free agency to go get a running back than it will be a high-impact pass rusher. Now, it's probably easier to draft a running back than it is a high-impact pass rusher, too. So it'll be a really interesting conversation and an equation that the Chiefs run at this, because the issue is they got to make the decision before they know if a guy like Jeremiah Love would even fall that far. Yep. Right? You bank everything on, let's say you just love Jeremiah Love. There's no guarantee he falls to 9. There's no guarantee somebody doesn't move up. There's no guarantee on any of them. Are you trading up to take him? That's the risk in team Jeremiah Love. If you go sign Breece Hall, for instance, for probably $10 million a year, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Like, you just move on with your life and you go BPA, you do whatever you need to do. You take a pass rusher. It's a simpler solution to go get a running back in free agency. It's a cheaper solution when you look at the needs in totality to go get the running back through free agency. Is it the best?
I agree.
Jeremiah Love.
It feels like there's two options, basically. It's either you're going to draft a defensive player, whatever you want to say, defensive player, or draft a defensive player and sign a running back, or draft a running back, and then it gets harder to go sign a defensive player because you can't sign both.
Yeah, you've got to hit on lower level free agents, which at that point there are league minimum type guys usually that I just kind of rather take a swing at. 80% of this draft needs to be defensive players. Yep. They probably need 3. I won't call them starters. They probably need 3 guys that play significant minutes for them, significant snaps for them, coming out of this class defensively. I would think at least 3, and one of them's got to be real good. So this gets really interesting. That's a big number from Mahomes. It's bigger than I thought they'd be able to come up with. If you're just telling me the Mahomes restructure and Jawan Taylor puts them $10 million under the cap, that things get a lot more interesting, because maybe
I just don't understand.
Get them to 20.
There's smarter people out there. We'll have to ask Josh Briscoe about this, because I feel like he would know more than us. But why doesn't everybody do this? Why is it
not everybody structures a contract that way. We almost only see elite level players do this because their security is in their game, right?
True.
Tom Brady, Tony Romo are the 2 that I remember, and I know there are more quarterbacks that do it. Those are the 2 quarterbacks I remember doing it constantly, and it's because what were they afraid of? Their team's not moving away from them. Tom Brady had all the security in the world. Patrick Mahomes has all the security. What's he afraid of? I don't need the money right now. I'll take the money later. Who cares? I'm getting the money. But yeah, restart. Do whatever you need to do to let's go win a championship. But not every player has that sort of security.
It's more so they're moving it to signing bonuses, right? Like, I mean, a signing bonus. I think
most of the time, yes, they just give it to them all at once.
Yeah. So why doesn't every team just do, like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's too easy.
Again, because you give it all as a signing bonus, and then something bad happens. Like Jawan Taylor, if you've given him all of his money as a signing bonus, you can't cut him this year.
True.
So I think it's just, again, it's got to be the security in the player. Like, it has to be elite. Like, they're not, like, there's no issue.
It's more so.
There's no issue with Patrick Mahomes.
It's more so the security of the Chiefs than the security of Patrick Mahomes is what that makes me seem like. I'm sure that Jawan Taylor would love a check for $20 million.
Absolutely, he would, right? But the Chiefs aren't willing to do that.
Okay. So it's more so the Chiefs feeling secure in a player.
I don't know but that's the way I've always read that. Like for instance, if they could do it with Trey Smith, they could probably do it with Creed Humphrey. That's probably about it on the guys that they don't have a lot of high salaries, to be perfectly honest with you. They've just got a lot of medium salaries. So yeah, like they could do it with a couple other guys, and maybe they will. Maybe Trace. I mean, you're not afraid of, you've got all the confidence in the world in those two players. Those are probably two other options. I don't know how their contracts are structured. But they have, it's what, I mean, Brett Veach he's not going to do it one way and then just stop. He's probably created this ability through a lot of their players. TJ on X says the owner has to be willing to just pay it up front too, which sure. But you owe the money, but yeah. Are you ready to write that check right now? With Patrick Mahomes, I'd say you're probably just fine doing that. Chris Jones, yes, just fine. Maybe they can do it with a couple other players. Either way, though, if they can work that down to 15, 20 million under the cap with high draft capital, I would say running back free agent is very much on the table here.
I think it's been on the table because this was going to happen.
But there was always the risk of, can you afford to tie up that much at running back?
Yeah.
But let's say Breece Hall was 3 years, $30 million. You taking that?
What was that? I imagine you have Spotrac pulled up right now. Do you?
Yeah, I'm looking up highest running back contracts.
Not even that. Like, where would that even stack up on the Chiefs' salaries? You said they got so many median salaries.
Yeah. It'd be right after Creed Humphrey, right around George Karlaftis.
Yeah. So,
which is about right for running backs. The highest paid running backs right now, average per year. Saquon's at 20 a year. The Eagles wouldn't even do that again. Christian McCaffrey's at 20 a year. Derrick Henry's at 15. Jonathan Taylor at 14. Alvin Kamara at 12. Josh Jacobs at 12. James Cook at 11. Kyron Williams at 11. Aaron Jones at 10. So it's going to be more than 10. I would say he's not going to, I don't think, make Jonathan Taylor money. He's younger than a lot of these guys are too. The Josh Jacobs contract, 4 years, $12 million, 4 years, 48.
It just feels like to me, like if they do that, there won't be another move to be made. Another substantial move.
Breece Hall's 24 years old.
I know, and that's the argument too. Like, I agree. It'd be awesome if it can happen, but it's just a matter of like, how secure do the Chiefs feel and everybody else, maybe, is the question to ask.
Breece Hall is 1 year older than Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Okay. Ashton Genty right now, based on where he was drafted, is making $9 million a year.
Yep.
So, you take Jeremiah Love at that spot, you're probably paying him close to that anyway.
When he gets his contract.
I mean, that's the contract given to the rookies drafted at that level, at that position. I mean, Ashton Genty's making an average of $9 million a year, $35 million total value contract.
So basically, you'd save like $4 million.
Only $16 million. No, it's fully guaranteed. Actually, it's fully guaranteed. So he's on a $35 million contract in total. At 23 years old, Breece Hall in that offense and what he's shown us in the NFL, giving him a 4-year, $48 million deal. I mean,
I don't know.
If the price difference is $2 or $3 million a year and it's all guaranteed anyway to Jeremiah Love, but you get Hall, because again, the problem is you don't know that you get Love. Do you evaluate Love as better than Breece Hall?
What are you saying? You don't know? Like, you're saying that somebody else takes him?
Yeah, I'm saying all the things to weigh out if you're the Chiefs on this. How do you evaluate Love versus Hall? Okay, how do you evaluate that? Now, the Chiefs may not want to tie any this kind of money up at running back, period. They may go say, Javonte Williams, come on down, for $5 million a year. That's fine, too. I'm okay with that thought process. I have no issue with that at all. It's an option, for sure. But if they really want to dig in and you really want to protect Mahomes a little bit, then if running back is a place you're going to attack, if the options are, let's say it's 4 years, 48, let's say it's the Josh Jacobs contract. You got Breece Hall, 24 years old, 4 years, $48 million. You've got Jeremiah Love, let's call it $35 million guaranteed, which is what Genty got. Okay. So that's the cost difference. How do you evaluate the players, and how do you evaluate the risk you take in hoping that you can get Love at 9? So if your options are Love at 9, maybe for $35 million fully at the full contract, or Hall at 48, you've got him, and you draft somebody else at 9 there. If those are the two options, I might take Hall. Yeah. I didn't realize how much Genty was getting paid.
Yeah, me neither.
Love's going to be expensive. My
follow-up question to that is, how much are you paying a defensive end or a defensive tackle if you're taking him at 9?
I think it's the same. I don't think that's based on position. I think that's based on where you got drafted. I don't think. I mean, we'll have to spend some time.
God, we're a bunch of idiots.
Well, no, we're not a bunch of idiots. It's just these are the parts of the, it's simple to just say, I love X player, they should do this. I love you, but it's not that simple. Like, when you're the front office, you've got to consider all of this stuff. If the running back at 9 is almost as expensive as Breece Hall, who's only a year older and proven, I'm not sure that's not a better option, because it frees you up at 9, if nothing else. Mm-hmm. There is a very good chance the Chiefs don't want to do either one of those things. Also, there's a chance they go way further down the line at running back and just go with somebody else, too. That's what they've done. It's been a long time since they've spent that kind of capital and resource at running back. Where was Jamal Charles drafted? Is he a first-round pick?
I don't think so. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I've shown that we don't know what we're talking about.
Jamal Charles was a third-round pick.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go back, and Kareem Hunt was later than, he was a later pick. I guess Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that didn't work out. So, they may not have the appetite to be investing any of this kind of thing at running back.
True.
Wouldn't surprise me either. So we'll see. It's an interesting conversation that we'll continue to have, but it got a little easier maybe with Mahomes freeing up that much money, Taylor coming off the books. They could get to a comfortable place under the cap. More comfortable than probably I thought. Certainly more comfortable than Max thought. If they can get to that, 20-ish million under the cap, that's.
The next steps. I mean, like, Taylor feels like one that's going to happen. That'll save you 20, and then it's like, I've seen some of the other ones. Then it gets to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, you can restructure Chris Jones or do whatever with Chris Jones. So I mean, like, what number can they get to? Can they get to 20 under?
That's what I'm. If they did,
if they did that, then it's,
and Smith, then maybe.
Then it's going to start getting into like.
And here's where the cap thing really screws with you. What does that do to them in 2 years? That's the part where it's really going over my head. Like, does that kill them in 2 years from now? If they do that now, I don't know. I don't know. And how much of an appetite, if that is the case, by the way, are you really going to blow it all on the year Mahomes is coming back from an ACL injury?
True.
Are we going to get Travis Kelce back playing? How much need do they have in the pass catching group? This is a fascinating Chiefs offseason because it's transformational potentially, but they still want to try to win.
If they get Tyreek Hill, who seems like he's going to play, by the way. It seems like he's targeting week 1, which is wild, after tearing his leg in half. if they get Tyreek Hill and they go get Breece Hall or Etienne or one of these guys, then I think Kelsey coming back moves up to like 85%.
I think Kelsey's making his own decision. I think
he is too, but I think it's a lot harder to come back if it's just like, who knows what this is going to look like rather than they are investing heavily on trying to get back
to this year, to win this year. Yeah, I mean, it's probably pretty hard for him to ignore a 9th overall pick too. I
just think it's hard. It's hard for him to come back for another run it back after this run it back. Just
totally. They're gonna have to hit the draft. Like they're still gonna have to draft a bunch of good defensive players. They need a re-infusion there. I love it, man. I love this offseason. I love this conversation. All right, we'll have Shreya Slada in to talk KU. We'll still have a little shocker for you, shocker talk as well. Stick with us here on Sports Daily. We're coming right back.
This is Sports Radio KFH.
Just got a new puppy or kitten? Congrats! But also, yikes. Between crates, beds, toys, treats, and those first few vet visits, you've probably already dropped a small fortune, which is where Lemonade Pet Insurance comes in. It helps cover vet costs so you can focus on what's best for your new pet. The coverage is customizable, sign-up is quick and easy, and your claims are handled in as little as 3 seconds. Pro tip, Lemonade offers a package specifically for puppies and kittens. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet. Your future self will thank you. Your pet won't. They don't know what insurance is.
Why have I asked my HVAC guy I found on Angie.com to change my grandpa's trachea tube? I was so amazed at how he replaced our air ducts. I knew I could trust him to change Pop-Pop's tube.
I think we should call a doctor.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic. Watch for a wreck on K96 westbound at I-135 southbound. It's causing a backup to Hillside Street. Also, there's a crash on I-135 on the southbound ramp at K96. Delays start at the interchange with I-235. And there's an accident on Kellogg westbound at Hillside, which is creating stop-and-go traffic from Oliver Street. From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey Wichita traffic.
Weather.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and warm today. High 70 with a west to southwest wind 10 to 20 and gusty. And those skies still may be a little smoky from those western Kansas wildfires. Partly cloudy, 45 tonight. Back over to windy conditions on Thursday. A midday high in the middle 50s. Falling temperatures in the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday and much cooler with the high in the middle 40s. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Download the Odyssey app and listen anywhere.
This is my Odyssey app. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My Odyssey app is my best friend. I must use my app true.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Oh, okay, take it easy. We're going on the air.
This is Sports Daily on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Should be connecting with Shreya Slada here in just a few minutes. Before we do that, TJ, let's talk Shockers for a second. East Carolina tonight, 77-60 the last time they played East Carolina. That one was in Wichita. More of the same, please. Just smother them defensively. That was a game they absolutely dominated the boards. It was a game where Kenyon Giles was really good. I think it was about the time Karan Boyd started to really step up offensively a little bit. The confidence anyway. He didn't make very many, but he took 6 threes in that game. But again, dominate the boards, lock them down defensively, and good things will happen in games like this. Now you got to do it on the road, though.
Yeah, I think that, Paul Mills was talking about the other day with us that Jordan Riley for East Carolina is going to kind of be the thing to watch. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the American Conference, and so that's the one thing that you're able to do at home. East Carolina is a team that has struggled this year, but they're also a team that has won back-to-back games. And they beat Florida Atlantic, who beat the Shockers like a drum. Now Florida Atlantic's skidding, so take that for what it's worth. But
yeah, Riley wasn't very good at the game in Wichita.
They did good against that. That's what they're talking. They did good, kind of trying to smother him.
And my recall isn't good enough. I would assume that becomes, like a Karan Boyd assignment. Just kind of get him out there on him. So we'll see what the Shockers do tonight. They should win. They're pretty heavy favorites, but East Carolina is playing better. Now you got to take it on the road and follow up that Tulsa game. All right, let's get now to our KU talk with Shreyas Laddha as we switch gears a little bit. Shreyas hops in with us here on Sports Daily. Shreyas, good morning. How are you? Happy Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. I see you still are shopping, still browsing. I get it's a tough decision to pick just one. I understand. You got a lot of options. You got to get just one.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. KU on the way to Stillwater tonight.
Are you going? Are you going, Shreyas?
I will not be there. Gary will be there, but I'll be at the Arizona trip, so we're alternating for these trips.
This is a
close second to Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Always a weird one. It is when you're talking about basketball environments. Oklahoma State's in the top 5 in this conference. They'll show up and be rowdy. I'm sure the Jayhawks tend to struggle there. We were talking about it in the last hour. Boy, this would be a good time for the Kobe to come out in Darren Peterson tonight, right? That killer instinct, that bad guy, public enemy number 1. See if he has a little of that in him tonight. Would be a good spot for it.
Yeah, I wrote about it in my preview. He's had a struggling last 3 games. I think he's averaging like 36% from the field. He had a career low or KU low, really. 10 points last game, 14 the game before that, and I think 19 the game before that. But he hasn't shot efficiently in any of those 3 games. Oklahoma State's a bad defensive team. They're not really a great team overall. Like you said, if this is the game to do it, I think, to get back on track, especially because after this, the schedule it gets tougher along the way. They have 5 more games after this, and they probably need a win out or come close to it to have a shot to win the Big 12 title.
I think the biggest thing about this game is just the carryover from the last game for KU. Is there any carryover you think? What do you even chalk that game up to? We talked about that one earlier this week, and it's kind of just like, I don't know, man. You run into that Iowa State team coming off of a loss. It felt like it was almost inevitable.
I mean, I chalk it to playing in Ames, right? In this conference, wherever you play, I think matters so much more than anyone realizes. I mean, Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse is nearly unbeatable. Iowa State in Hilton Coliseum is nearly unbeatable. Arizona at home is really hard to beat. It just kind of is what it is at this point. If you can get a road win against a good team, that's a big deal. Until Kansas beat Texas Tech, they hadn't lost at home, right? So I think it's just one of those things that the streak had to end eventually, right? And they were due for a stinker, and they had a stinker, they had a stinker against a good opponent.
They did. Expected. Let me ask you this, going back to your Big 12, because Iowa State's now back in the mix. KU's back in the mix. How much have you been – I haven't at all. I have not been paying attention to the Big 12 race because I just kind of thought of it as out of the question for a long time. And the fact that it is back in the question, I guess it's something we should be paying attention to. I mean, they don't completely control – they kind of control their destiny here. I don't know all the tiebreakers. They get Houston and Arizona. They trail them by a game. Them all, and I don't know what happens with the tiebreaker at Iowa State, but they've got a shot at this thing.
They absolutely have a shot at this thing. I mean, right now I think they're tied with 3rd for the conference with Iowa State, and also I want to say Texas Tech. Actually, Texas Tech lost yesterday, right? So the game now they're not tied with them. I think they're just tied with Iowa State. But that being said, I think Kansas has a real shot in this. Just because they play Houston, they play Arizona. I think my thing is I think they'll beat Houston at home, but they'll lose to Arizona on the road, and that'll probably be the clincher, and they're not, winning the Big 12 title. Because right now, the way it's looking is you can maybe lose 1 of the remaining 6 to have a shot. That being said, you're going to have a little luck go your way, with Arizona and Houston having to lose twice in the next 6 games or whatever. But Kansas is a real shot. I was looking at I retweeted this thing yesterday. I think it said Kansas is a 12% shot of getting the 1 seed for the not NCAA tournament, but the Big 12 tournament. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Kansas wins the Big 12 title.
On that glass floor they're about to be playing on. I love the glass floor, by the way. I think it's awesome. So on Saturday, the Darren Peterson saga. We haven't spoke since Bill Self kind of debunked all the stuff and went on a tangent to your question. But on Saturday, he only played 25 minutes. You talked about the conditioning going in as he hadn't practiced with the flu and everything that was going on, and also they were down by 20. Is there anything to raise an eyebrow at about that? I imagine if you had the flu for over a week, it should be on the way out of your system, right?
I'm not really I asked Bill about it after the Iowa State game. Was it game flow? Was it conditioning? It seemed like he said it was a mix of both things. I saw people freaking out about his response, and I thought it was a very nothing burger. I don't know, man. We've covered the Darren Peterson saga so long this year. To me, I didn't raise any eyebrows about anything Bill Self said. Why would he play him in a game? They were clearly out of it, exactly. From the second half onwards. He barely played the other guys too. Doesn't mean they had, cramping or flu issues or whatever. They didn't play their usual minutes. And it's because, they were out of it basically since 3 minutes into the second half.
So what do they need to do against Oklahoma State? We were talking about the role of, let me start that over. Peterson is the best version of this team Peterson with a high shot volume, or is the best version of this team Peterson complementing what we've seen them peak at without him, I guess?
I think it depends on who you're playing, right? Because there's going to be games where he's going to have to just take over because the rest of the guys can't score. Theoretically, if the Iowa State game, if he was better, they have a real shot to win that game, or at least be in a realm of possibility of it becoming a single-digit loss versus a double-digit loss, right? I think the best version of this Kansas team is probably some mix of both, right? Where he's there in high-leverage clutch situations, but he's not taking a million shots a game because, the offense just clearly needs to figure itself out. You want to be efficient more than, high shot volume, I think. And we've seen he can be. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for, Peterson to shoot a medium amount or maybe the second most or the first most on the team. That's fine. But I think there's a real chance they can. It's just, it feels like this constant shuffling in, out, in, out, in, out. And now this, slumping thing, it just adds a different dynamic. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. Without Peterson, this team is really good. I think they could make a Sweet 16 if everything went right, even without Peterson. But the question is, can you make a Final Four without Peterson playing the entire time? And right now, I have not seen anything to say that Peterson can play 6 straight games without something popping up, okay? Yeah. To win a title. But I think that's my biggest thing with this team is I think they're duly talented. I think Peterson's a very talented player. The health issue, the lineup configuration, that now to me is are they going to ever really figure it out before the end of the season or by the end of the regular season? I don't know. They could. There's still 6 games, but you really hope he has no more health issues pop up in the next 6 games just because they can get some continuity, remaining.
Yeah, I had the same thought that you talked about at the end there is that, back in November, it's something that we said, they'll figure it out by the end of the regular season. Well, the clock is on, and we haven't really we kind of got a week of a tease a little bit, and then it kind of went away. Just from tonight's perspective, as I always say on this stuff, there are now Big 12 availability reports. He's not on it. He had the flu. They're saying that it was kind of it's passing. He got his conditioning. By all accounts, tonight you should not expect to see Darren Peterson go to the bench early.
I think so. I think he should play at least 27 to 30 minutes a game, ideally more than that. I think before the flu-like symptoms or whatever, he was finally starting to get over the cramping. It looked like because he had 2 straight games where he didn't cramp, according to Bill Self. And he played a good amount of minutes in those games. He wasn't great efficiency-wise, but he played 34 minutes a game, and I think both of them. So ideally, this is a game where Peterson plays 32 minutes and Kansas wins comfortably in Stillwater because still, Oklahoma's not that good. As much as they've had some struggles there, I think they've still won 8 straight against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that they don't look good when they play down there. I'm with you. I want to go back to what you said about the Final Four. Can they get there without him? I don't think so. I don't think they can. But I just always go back to like the best Bill Self teams, even the championship. That offense ran through McCormick. As many great players as they had, as frustrating as that was at times, I think, for fans, that offense ran through McCormick. The best offenses do. So is there a possibility that Peterson's superpowers are going to be more of like translate to the NBA type superpowers than they do in college? I want so badly to see both at the same time. Like him be great, but not have to be 18 shots iso ball great, to like complement in with this offense that is like when it runs down low and runs outside, like just to add that shooter to me feels like the best version of KU. Not just, oh, Peterson's here, let's let him have 18 shots. Go try to one-on-one somebody for a bunch of possessions.
Well, I absolutely do think, NBA spacing will make his offense better. I also think he'll look better as a ball handler. I mean, like you go back and watch high school tapes. I'm not going to sit there and say everything's going to translate from high school, but you can see he's a much better ball handler. I mean, right now he has a 1-to-1 turnover to assist ratio.
He turns it over a lot.
He turns it over a lot. Like he just doesn't look super comfortable as a ball handler. And I don't know how much of that is the cramps, the sickness, the twisted ankle, the quad injury, the whatever, the 5 different ailments he's had this year. But I do think he'd be a little more comfortable as a primary ball handler. But why would you do that with this team? Melvin Council's really good at that. He needs to figure out how to play off ball, and he did it in some games, but not all games.
Hey, buried headlines tonight. This is the first time to go Stillwater since the report about Bill Self thinking about the job came out.
Oh, yeah.
Will he be coming back on the team plane?
Will he return?
Ask some questions.
He might have an extra day in Stillwater to see some friends.
Yeah. Go to the creek. Go to the creek. Play some golf down there. Oklahoma Joe's.
All right, Trius, we appreciate it. Follow along at SHRE98 at the KC Star. We'll check in with you again next week.
Thanks, guys.
There goes Trius Lotta. We're coming right back.
Basically, get out of the way.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
This tanking has been around this season. The Jazz were fined $100,000 for sitting Lauri Markkanen in multiple games. So the discipline is public, but the behavior didn't change and probably won't change. The league may mean business, but intent and impact are not the same.
The Dan Patrick Show, middays from 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Right now.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Not everybody is, top end. Not everybody is Mahomes or Brady. You have to have quarterbacks that you can just trust. And that's what Sam Darnold will probably be the rest of his career. Yeah, he won that one, but, the defense carried him. Well, however he parses this out, he's still got a Super Bowl.
The Dan Patrick Show, middays from 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
The Wildcats.
3 wide open again, and it's perfect again.
Hit the court.
To the rim, layup good.
Right here.
Yeah. How about these Cats?
Be here every game as the Wildcats pounce the hardwood all season long. On your home for Kansas State Wildcat basketball. 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Wichita's most listened to sports radio. 97.5 and 1240 KFH.